سادتي وسادتي، إلى هنا ننتهي من بث برامج صوت كوريا باللغة العربية من جمهورية كوريا الديمقراطية الشعبية. نبث إذاعتنا مرتين نحو الشرق الأوسط وأفريقيا الشمالية من الساعة 0 إلى الساعة 1 بتوقيت بيونغيانغ، ومن الساعة 2 إلى الساعة 3 بتوقيت بيونغيانغ على الموجتين القصيرتين التاليتين: الأولى بذبذبة قدرها 9990 كيلو هرتز، والثانية بذبذبة قدرها 11545 كيلو هرتز. إلى اللقاء. صوت كوريا من بيونغيانغ.
This is Voice of Korea.
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 Now we begin the English language transmission from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
You'll enjoy a mixed chorus, Song of General Kim Il-sung. Here is a male chorus, Song of General Kim Jong-il. You are listening to Voice of Korea News Now. The Ethiopian Youth Committee for the Study of the Church Idea on May the 29th carried in its bulletin number 37 the famous work of respected Kim Jong-un on effecting a drastic turn in land management to meet the requirements for building a thriving socialist nation, illustrated with this picture. The Organization of Italian Dialectical Materialist Atheists carried in its bulletin on May the 29th Kim Jong-un's famous works, "Let us brilliantly accomplish the revolutionary cause of Juche," holding the great Kim Jong-il in high esteem as the eternal general secretary of our party, and "Let us dynamically struggle for the final victory," holding aloft the banner of Sungun. Seminars on the great leader Kim Jong-il's feats took place in Bulgaria and Thailand on May the 31st and June the 3rd on the occasion of the 48th anniversary of its start of the work at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. Hung on the front walls of the venues of the seminars were portraits of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Present there were personages of the Bulgarian Anti-Fascist Union, the Bulgarian Communist Union, the Kim Il-sung Library in Sofia, the Bulgaria-Korea Friendship Association, the Thailand-Korea Friendship Association, and the Organization for the Study of the Juche Idea of Thailand, and other people. The speakers highly praised the feats of respected Kim Jong-il, who steadily developed in depth the Juche idea and Sungun idea founded by President Kim Il-sung with his energetic ideological and theoretical activities, and provided an everlasting guideline for accomplishing the human cause of independence. Cambodian broadcasts featured the 12th anniversary of the June the 15th Inter-Korean Joint Declaration between May the 30th and June the 2nd. The Cambodian National Radio, Apsara Television and Radio, and Radio FM 90.5 said leader Kim Jong-il had a June the 15th joint declaration adopted at the historic Inter-Korean Summit meeting in June 2000 for the North and the South to solve the reunification issue of the country, independently with the concerted efforts of the Korean nation itself. They also said in 2007 he had the October the 4th Declaration, an action program of the June the 15th Joint Declaration, made public and thus boosted the reunification movement onto a new high stage. On the other hand, the Bangladesh Institute of the Juche Idea issued a bulletin on May the 30th on the occasion of the 12th anniversary of the June the 15th Inter-Korean Joint Declaration. Academician, Professor and Dr. Che Alexei Danilovich, a Russian resident Korean at the Russian Academy of Natural Sciences, made public on May the 30th his impressions on his visit to the homeland to participate in the celebrations of the centenary birth anniversary of the great leader President Kim Il-sung. He wrote that the most important impressions he got were the enthusiasm of all people celebrating the centenary birth anniversary of President Kim Il-sung, infinite trust in their leader, and firm belief in their government. He said the enthusiastic cheers for the supreme leader of the nation, young Kim Jong-un, at the military parade for celebrating the centenary birth anniversary of President Kim Il-sung were a thing that could never be concocted. He stressed that a hopeful spring of another century of Kim Il-sung's nation has started in socialist Korea, the homeland in the east. DPRK Premier Cha Young-lim learned about the affairs of the Namong Youth Chemical Complex on the spot. He looked around different places of the complex and convened a consultative meeting. The meeting discussed measures and ways to normalize fertilizer production on a higher level and speed up the construction of new processes at the complex. The Premier called on the officials to take care of the life of the workers. Earlier, he looked around the public bathhouse 1 of Pyongyang under reconstruction. Sports games for Sunmun Touch Prize opened in Haeju City, South Hwanghae Province on the 10th. Present there were officials concerned and sportspersons. The opening ceremony was followed by a football match. During the games, football, volleyball, boxing, and track and many other events will be played in Haeju, Pyeongseong, Hamhung, Nampo, and other places. Several kinds of stamps were issued in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea to mark International Stamp Exhibitions. An individual stamp which is dedicated to the World Stamp Championship and Exhibition Indonesia 2012 shows a personified lizard in traditional national costume and letters World Stamp Championship and Exhibition Indonesia 2012 and the emblem of the exhibition in the upper part. A sheet concerning the French Stamp Exhibition 2012 Planète d'Embro carries pictures of the Tolima statue and the Arch of Triumph in the city of Pyongyang on the background of the Tower of the Tsuchi deer and a national flower of the DPRK and orchid. Also seen in it are Korean and English letters, Stamp Exhibition 2012, Planète d'Embro, and the exhibition's emblem. Meanwhile, 3 kinds of individual stamps on rare birds in Korea and many other countries of the world have come out. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea obtained qualifications for 11 events of the 30th London Olympics. Now, 49 DPRK players, 35 women, 14 men have been qualified for Olympics in 11 events including women's football, marathon, table tennis, wrestling and weightlifting. The DPRK won 4 gold medals in the 25th Olympiad in 1992 and 2 gold medals in the 26th and 29th Olympics respectively. Delegation of the Workers' Party of Korea, led by Kim Yong-il, alternate member of the Political Bureau and Secretary of the Central Committee of the party, arrived in Hanoi on Saturday for a visit to Vietnam. Earlier, the delegation had left Vientiane after a visit to Laos.
The media headquarters of the South Committee for the implementation of the June the 15th Joint Declaration, the People's Solidarity for June the 15th Joint Declaration and October the 4th Declaration, and the Solidarity for Democracy, People's Life, Peaceful Reunification and Sovereignty, held a meeting in Seoul, South Korea on the 5th on the occasion of the 12th anniversary of the June the 15th Joint Declaration. Speakers at the meeting said defending and implementing the June the 15th Joint Declaration are the supreme task of the Korean nation and the only way to enjoy a happy life. They called for turning out in the struggle to judge the pro-US, pro-Japanese conservative regime. Then, a joint resolution was made public. A spokesman for the General Association of Koreans in the United States issued a press statement on the 6th, demanding the South Korean Lee Myung-bak regime implement the North-South Joint Declaration. The Ecuadorian Guaranda Association for Friendship, Culture and Solidarity with the Korean people issued a statement on May 31st, denouncing the United States for its human rights record in 2011, which has landed the DPRK, and in support of the press statement of a spokesman for the DPRK Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And that's the end of the news read by Lee Hyang-sim and Kim Hyun-ok. This is Voice of Korea. The Daily Rodong Sinmun carried a commentary on the 11th under the title, "Will Not Sit with Folded Arms." The commentary said, recently the U.S. Secretary of Defense, addressing the Asian Security Conference held in Singapore, disclosed the intention to build up the U.S. naval force in the Pacific and continued. He announced that 60% of the U.S. naval vessels would be concentrated on the Asia-Pacific region till 2020, and that 6 U.S. aircraft carriers would be maintained in the region. What is preposterous is that, while talking about the build-up of the U.S. naval force in the Pacific, Faneta said the action of North Korea destabilizes the situation and listed it as one of the threats the United States is faced with. Ridiculously, the U.S. Secretary of Defense said the redeployment of the U.S. naval force in the Pacific is not to blockade the big powers in the region, and it is compatible with the development and growth of the regional countries. Faneta disclosed his bellicose nature with an incomprehensible awkward sophistry. The arms build-up of the trigger-happy force of the United States will give rise to great caution and apprehensions of countries in the Pacific, and no country will look on it with folded arms. As the United States speeds up the build-up of the U.S. naval force under the pretext of a non-existent threat, we cannot but take proper self-defensive measures.
That was the commentary entitled, "We'll Not Sit with Folded Arms, Carrying the Daily Rodong Shinmun on the 11th. This is Voice of Korea." We now present a male chorus, "Footsteps."
The future of the revolution is